Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vassell and welcome to my live Q&A January 6, 2020. The first Q&A of, well actually it's not the first Q&A of 2020. I did the town hall on January 1st. Never mind. The second. And so the way these Q&As work is you ask questions and I give you answers. I'm not saying they're the right answers, the correct answers, they just happen to be my answers. I'm slightly nervous today because today in 1 hour exactly, we're launching the Dice Tower Kickstarter. And so if you like our show, if you're watching this and you think our show's worth backing, go check that out. It's going to be launching at noon. So hopefully you will enjoy that. We've worked really hard on it. They're double checking it right now. But, well, we hope it's together. There is more than 60 promos for sure. If I count each individual card, I want to say there was like 280 different cards. There's a lot of promo packs and stuff. So anyway, I hope you enjoy it, but I hope more importantly than all that, that you enjoy the Dice Tower. Alrighty, so go ahead, ask some questions. I don't have any questions so far. Oh, Mikkel says, can we make a top 10 list for team versus team games? Maybe. I thought we did that. If we haven't, me and Eric did it on the podcast. You can go check out Dice Tower website. There is a top 10 that we've done on team versus team games. Alrighty. Can you explain how Board Game Geek ratings are calculated? How come some games with fewer number of votes go so high? Well, I don't know all the details of it. There's Bayesian rating in there or something, but they obviously averaged them out, and then they add in a bunch of dummy votes. I think maybe the number's not known. I don't remember. They add a certain number of dummy votes in so that if you have only a few ratings, you don't skew all the way to the top of the rankings. Games with fewer votes do not skew higher. They simply cannot. You'll look at a very high rating maybe, but when you look at the actual adjusted rating, which is the one most people look at and where the ranking is on Board Game Geek, you can't get very high unless you have a lot of ratings to counteract those dummy ratings that are in there. What's a reasonable price for Star Wars Queen's Gambit? Whew, I don't know. It is a pricey game for sure. In fact, I guess I could look on Board Game Geek. Let's see. Star Wars Queen's Gambit. Technically, it's called Star Wars The Queen's Gambit. And on Board Game Geek, they keep track of how much... so right now, you go to Amazon and buy it for $450. On eBay, there's some listings. The lowest one is $454. In the geek market recently, one sold for 425, one sold for 270 euros and 299 euros. That is crazy expensive, and it's only going to get more and more expensive. So it's up to you. I don't know if anyone will buy it for $450, but wow. Oh, there's one for 370. That's a used copy. Let me see if anyone's actually bid on it. I'm going to eBay now. Nope, $370 or $31 for 12 months. Oh, man. It says used, excellent condition. So there you go. Well, come to a Dice Tower event. We have one in the library, so there's that. I was wondering what role I played when I played U-Boot. I played the first officer. I was the person who controlled the app. I like that part, right? I like controlling the app and everything. And I said next time I play, I think I'd want to be the captain because I like to be in charge. I guess that's bad. But anyway, I think if I was picking, I would want to be captain, navigator. Captain, first mate, then navigator, and then way down, engineer. Engineer was the least interesting one for me, at least. Congratulations on becoming a future father-in-law. Well, sure. Well, I mean, we'll wait and see when it happens. Melody's actually coming in today. If you read a rule book and you don't understand everything, do you ever watch how to play videos to get going? I don't do that too often, but I have sometimes when I'm completely confused or a rules question, I will watch a how to play video to see what they said on the rules questions. Tomric the Battle Mage from Arcadia Quest. We have extras of those. If you back this year's Kickstarter, you'll be able to get a Tomric added on in the backer kit afterwards. What happened to Board Game University podcast? That was something I really enjoyed doing, but it was a lot of work, and we phased it out. They may come back at some point, but they just have been phased out for now. Someone else took them over for a while, but again, it's kind of phased out at this point in time. How do you like doing Kickstarter? I hate it. But I mean, I shouldn't say I hate it. I mean, there's some really good things about doing Kickstarter, and it's really exciting to see people like what you do. But the amount of work, I have spent many hours on this project. We came in today. We were done on Friday, right? And we came in today and fixed lots of things. It didn't help that the internet went down here, but fortunately that's been fixed. Is anyone really placing Sam in the top 10 videos? Well, I said this on Monday, but I'll say it again. We'll keep talking about this. What we're going to be doing with top 10s this year. So the top 100, which is starting today, you'll see Mike DeLisio will be there for the People's Choice. He's covering for the people. Then tomorrow's video, Roy will be there. They'll switch back and forth until we get to the top 40, in which Mike and Roy will be there together doing their own, and we'll have the People's Choice. So you get 5 lists on 40 through 1. For the rest of the year, for top 10s, the way we plan to do them is we will occasionally bring in someone from the area, like Roy, Mike, Jason. Bonacor doesn't live too far away. But we want to, and if the Kickstarter goes well, we're going to fly people in, and they'll record a couple top 10s with us. We'll do one live. We'll probably record one to do another time. We'll have them on our board game breakfast. So we're going to have just guests top 10 on our top 10 list. And I've talked to several people in the industry. Lots of people are interested in this. They would have a lot of fun doing it. And we think that would be an entertaining thing for you. And you get to see a lot of different viewpoints. Sam himself will come in and do one with us. So I don't have any dates or anything for any of that right now. We're going to see how the Kickstarter goes first, but that is what we're planning to do with top 10s. My friends and I just finished Mechs vs. Minions, and I love Robo Rally. Do you have any other favorite programming games? There's a lot. I should probably make a list of programming games. Those are the top 2 that I would have said, although Emerson's Robot, no, it's not really programming. People that say Quirky Circuits is a good programming game. I have not played that one yet, but there's a lot of good ones out there. I have to make a list and think about that. Is there a particular type of band you use to hold boxes together for your vertically stored games in the Dice High Library? I use 2 rubber bands, crisscrossed. I don't remember the exact name. I have it saved in my Amazon account, a very specific kind of rubber bands we found that were inexpensive but hold the boxes together. I try to have everything inside it, though, so that even if you store it vertically and it falls out, it's not a problem. The biggest problem with storing them vertically is the beautiful inserts that don't work when you store things vertically. Some do, most don't. So inserts are slowly starting to get pulled from the games. One versus all top 10 games? We'll probably do that at some point. When it's quote-unquote safe, will you all be announcing where Sam went to work? Well, I'm going to let Sam announce that first. After he announces it, that we'll announce it. Greeting, Toms. If you ever played Taverns of Tiefenthal with all the modules, do you think this will affect your view of the game? Well, I don't know. I will. I said I'll go through and play them. I just actually pulled the game and stuck it on my to-play pile for that very purpose. Where do I broadcast videos? Is that within my house or somewhere else? This is not within my house. This is an actual house that's just for the Dice Tower. Somewhere in the world, in Florida. We don't actually give the address of this house out just so that we don't necessarily need people swinging by on a whim, because it would be really disruptive to the workflow. But it's here. And I drive here from every morning just like a regular job, and then go home at night. What do you think about the new Kemet version announced? I'm excited, and I've known about it for like 6 months now or something like that. It's one of the few times I knew something was coming and I couldn't talk about it or whatever, so I've kind of forgotten about it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right, a new version of Kemet. So I am excited about it for sure. Why do I think the number of voters on Board Game Geek is quite low? Some tens of thousands of votes, I think, is quite low. Because there's not that many people who are board game geeks. By that I mean people who rate stuff and who put things in. Also, the people who are board game geeks tend to buy heavier Euro-style games. That's how many of those games sell. There isn't 100,000 copies of most Euro games being sold. There's like 10,000. More popular games like Azul and Ticket to Ride and things like that, many more of those are sold, but most people who play those don't rate them. My wife hasn't ever rated a game I can think of. A lot of people don't rate games, so that's why. There's enough, though, for you to get a feel of what people think. What's the next war game you'll play? I don't know. I have one in my bag, but I forget the name of it. Of course, you probably wouldn't consider it a war game. Will the same card sleeves from last year be available this year in the Kickstarter? Well, maybe after the Kickstarter, but what we're doing this year is we are using card sleeves the thing that I'm excited about is we got our own custom card sleeves that are going to be this size. They're the Mysterium size card sleeves. And what I wanted to do with these, and I think it's, I don't know, maybe no one else would be interested, but I thought it was a cool idea, has a covered back, and then you can mix Dixit and Mysterium and Obscurio and Muse and Detective Club and mix all those cards together if you want to with these backs on them, and then you can use those cards from one game to the next, because all these games, they're very different games, but the cards can be used from one to the other. And I think that's a neat idea. And so we're going to be selling a pack of 100 of these sleeves, again with the back covered, so you'll be able to do that. Do you feel that people should re-rate their games more often than now? Like 0 times. Well, I don't care if people rate their games or not, or re-rate their games. I re-rate my games I do that, though. I'll tell you why I re-rate my games, because of my look back series that I do every Wednesday. I go back and I look at games I reviewed a year, 5 years, and 10 years ago, and I put in the ratings for them. So I change the ratings if they need to be changed. I don't expect most people to do that. It's a pain. You rate a game, you leave it once. There are some people who have argued that there should be decaying ratings, like your rating should decay over time, but I don't know, then how does that affect the people who said a game was a 10 and it still is a 10 to them now? To force people to go back and re-rate their games would make it a chore. Some people re-rate their games, but not many. Have I heard from Sam and how he's doing with his moving? Yeah, I gave Sam a call. Was it last week? Maybe a week, maybe it was more than a week ago. I gave him a call, talked to him. He said he got there fine. It was a long drive. It took him a week to get there. Had some help from one of the Dice Tower contributors. And yeah, he said he's settling in okay. And then seems fine. On Facebook, everything else seemed fine. I'll probably give him a call in a couple more weeks. Dan says, if I want to get my wife into board games, what co-op game would you suggest? I wouldn't. I don't know your wife. That's the thing. I would always suggest a game that's a theme that they're interested in. There are tons of cooperative games out there. And I would just pick one with a theme that you think that they would like. Like my wife, I would probably... I think Pandemic for me would be the one if my wife has played cooperative games. But let's say she never had. I would pick Pandemic because I know she likes disaster type movies. She loves disaster movies. I talked to her about this. It's weird that she likes to see the end of the world so often. So Pandemic would be something that she would like theming wise. Does Kickstarter still charge you 10%? It's ish. It's really close to 10%, yes. It's not Kickstarter technically. It's 5% goes to Kickstarter and 5% goes to the credit card. And the credit card is the one that kind of waffles around and changes a little bit on the percentage, but that's where it's at mostly. Don't they usually reskin games like Queen's Gambit? Sure, that happens often. In fact, if you go and you find from a few years ago, Star Wars Risk, which came out the year the first Star Wars came out, the first of the new ones, the sequels. That one's very similar to Star Wars Queen's Gambit. It's not quite as good, but it's similar. Unfortunately, Star Wars Queen's Gambit's so tied to the movie, it would be very difficult to reskin it to something else. Have you considered game bundles from various publishers for the Dice Tower Kickstarter? It seems to work well for some others. Sure, I have considered it. We've rejected that for now. Mostly, there's a lot that would be, there's just a lot that goes into that. We talked about it because it would be easy. You get the games, publisher sends the games, then it works really well. The main reason we haven't done it is because we're not a store. Sure, there's cool stuff to get. There's cool promos and extra things, and I'm going to talk about some of these things in a bit here that are neat. But at the end of the day, we want people to support us because they like the Dice Tower, not because they're buying games. Also, Kickstarter has a very strict limits on things you can sell that are already pre-made that were not made specifically for your Kickstarter. Let me see here. Have you played a 2020 game yet? Or are you still playing 2019 ones? Yeah, I played, well, I consider The Crew to be a 2020 game. So there's that. I would say, did I play a 2020 game? I'm trying to think now. I played a bunch of games yesterday, and I think one of them might have been 2020. But it's getting a little hairy to figure out which ones are which right now. I'll have to look at them. Howdy, Tom. Why didn't your re-review of Homesteaders include the new expansion? Because I wanted it to include the basic game. If someone buys the game or is looking to buy the game, they shouldn't have to get the expansion if they don't want to. And I wanted them to just take a look at the base game. I don't think you should ever review a game and expansion necessarily together because people might not find them both together. Does my son-in-law like board games? Well, they're not married yet. Do you mean my future son-in-law? I know he likes Marvel Legendary a ton, like ridiculously a ton. So that's that. I've gotten them most of the expansions, or a lot of the expansions for Marvel Legendary. Will there be events at Dice Tower West? Yes. I don't know all the events at this time, but I can tell you that some of the bigger events, me and Z and Eric and the Dice Tower crew, we're going to be doing a top 10 list. And me and Rado are going to be doing a back and forth, subject of which will be announced soon of what it is. I actually need to email Rado about that and ask him I had an idea of something I'd like to do. There's not a ton of events though, and there will be a game show. There'll be a game show. So I know that those are the big three events: the game show, top 10, and the me versus Rado. But there will be other things too going on. We'll announce them, but there won't be a ton of events because the focus is open gaming. Did I get a chance to play on Mars yet? Well, let's be clear. I've had a chance to play it. I just haven't. I know me and Mike DeLisio were talking about this before we started this video up because we know it's a complex game. In fact, I was reading a comment here on my Mike did an unboxing. So somebody wrote a comment here that said, "Oh man, another game Tom should not be reviewing. I hope he does the game the due diligence it deserves and actually play it 5 times if he thinks positive of it, and 10 if he goes the predict it negative route." I just find it weird. I don't even think I've trashed a Lacerda game yet. I haven't played Lisboa, for example, and I haven't played the first one. I played the painting one, which I said was decent. I didn't say it was great, but I didn't say it was bad. And I liked Escape Plan a lot, actually. But I did think it was weird that if I liked it, I can play it 5 times, but if I don't like it, I need to play it 10 times. Anyway, that gave me That gave me a kind of a laugh today. I actually think I'm going to like it, I think. People told me it's like a cross between Terraforming Mars and Underwater Cities. Now, I have heard that it's also extremely complex. Like, I heard that from people who think games are complex, said they think it's complex. So I was talking to Mike, and maybe Mike and me will battle through a 2-player game of it, here at some point. So I will get it played. I just don't know when. When does the Kickstarter start? Noon in 41 minutes. All right. Do you think the Suburbia Collection Edition makes the game better? Well, makes the game nicer. I don't know if it makes the game better. I think it's just everything in one box. Do you talk politics with your wife? Sure. In fact, we were talking politics yesterday, actually. She is one of like 4 people in the world I talk politics with, too. But that's because we don't argue over politics really at all. Are you excited for the new Marvel game from, come on? Yes! I don't know as much as y'all know about it. It's a chibi Marvel game. I'm more excited for it than from the Marvel game from Fantasy Flight. But that's, I don't know. I mean, they said it's a brand new game, so it's not Arcadia Quest, which it looks like. So I'll wait till there's more details. There certainly is a lot of huge Kickstarters coming in the beginning of this year. I'll donate if Z does a top pandemic games video. I'll ask him to do it. How's that? Tom, what's your favorite book of the Bible outside of the Gospels? Acts. Have you played Dungeonology? I have not, but it is actually in my bag to go tomorrow night gaming. Now, I took it Saturday, didn't get played, but it's definitely in the bag. It looks nice, so we'll have to wait and see. How do you handle when your kid wants to play a game but doesn't want to follow the rules? I'm pretty strict on following the rules, so the rules are the rules. Top 10 things you're a good reviewer of, except board games. I think some people would argue that I'm not a good reviewer of board games. I'm not really good at reviewing stuff because I like what I like and I don't have a lot. I mean, I'm, for example, I can go on and on about food. And I talk about a movie or TV shows, books. But I'm not like, I wouldn't consider myself even remotely an expert in any of those areas. I do. And this is not humble, I suppose. I do consider myself an expert on board games, but again, even then, people tell me I'm not an expert and blah, blah, blah. So if that's what I get here from the board game side of things, I wouldn't dare say I'm good at reviewing anything else. You know what I do review a lot, though, are people's speeches / sermons / lessons, public speaking. I'll sit there and go, boring, or I'll talk about, oh, they should have said this, they should have told this joke then. But I don't even know if I'm good at that. How will the Kickstarter work for EU viewers with physical items in regards to shipping and import tax? I don't know. It's the same as it always has. Unfortunately, I can't do EU-friendly shipping. We don't have a hub to ship from in the European Union. I think it's getting better for UK, actually. But we'll do our best to make it as simple as we possibly can. Top 10 games that have alcohol as a theme? Maybe, but I don't even know if there is. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's 10 games that there's about brewing for sure. That wouldn't be a big top 10. That'd be like a side one. The Vassal hat variety is always nice to see. Do you ever put things in your hats for display purposes? I see a little green item behind your left ear today. Are you talking about my feather? You can buy these feathers pretty cheap on Amazon, and I bought a bunch of them, and I keep meaning to change the feather that match my shirt so they, the colors match, and then I always forget. So this green does not match the turquoise of my shirt. So, oh well. I can't speak to where designers should go. I get a lot of questions like, what should a designer do in this regard? Someone just asked me, what's a good place for a board game designer to go, an event? I wouldn't know that because I'm not really in that circle too much for board game designers. Will any of my team be at Board Game Geek Con Spring? Probably not. We can only go to so many cons over the course of a year. So, and people ask, what have we planned for this year? Well, I'm planning to go to, so for sure, the 4 Dice Tower cons. Dice Tower West, or Dice Tower Cruise, which is this month, January. Dice Tower West, which is next month, February. Dice Tower East, which is in July. And Dice Tower Retreat, which we don't have the exact dates, but will be in September. We'll be announcing those dates really soon. Then we're going to be at Gen Con and at Essen, probably, for sure. Those 2. And PAX Unplugged. Those are the 7 cons you can know will be at those cons. Now, there's another con I'm going to be at for sure, but it's not been announced yet. That's later on in the year. And we're looking into going to UK Games Expo. A lot of people are asking about that. I'm not I'm not going to Origins. I apologize. I know a lot of people. Origins is a special spot in my heart. Had a lot of good times there, but we just can't fit it into our schedule this year. That's pretty much where we're at right now. If you would like to meet us, I always say we run 4 different Dice Tower events over the course of the year. Come play games with us at one of those if you can. Why do I store games vertically versus horizontally? It's easier to pull them off the shelf. When you have 4 boxes here, I want to pull the one out from the bottom. I gotta like put the other 3 up and boo it or pull it, and they drop. If they're like this, it's just easier to pull them in and out. Also, in my opinion, they look nicer vertical. Is there a link to the Kickstarter yet? Well, the link to the Kickstarter will go live at noon. But if you're watching this Q&A and you want to see a sneak preview, you could go to dicetowerkickstarter.com. But it won't go live till noon. My wife is nervous about teaching games at conventions. Do you have any pointers or tips for teaching games to strangers? I always start off by saying, hey, if you hate this game, I didn't design it and I didn't publish it, so you can tell me and it won't bother me at all. Put them at ease, right? And hey, and then I quick give a summary of the end of the game. This is how the game, how we score. And I'm talking about games I know how to play, because I often teach games I don't know how to play, where I'm reading from the rule book. I teach those slightly differently. But if I know how to play the game, I will explain the game, the point of the game, what you're trying to do, and then just go through the basic principles of the game. And I explain different games differently. Depends how complex it is. You might be wondering what this is in my hand here. This is the Top 100 Board Challenge from Top Scratch. Top Scratch is a company I met at Essen, and they have these posters. And these posters have scratch-off stuff on them. And so we're going to get one of these made, but custom for the Dice Tower. And so this is like, buy a board game and don't unwrap it for a month. I wouldn't put that on my list. But that's, and then if you do that, you scratch it off, and then you can level up in different things. Play in a board games club. Play a board game on a 10th floor or higher. Play a board game 100 kilometers or miles from home. And that's the kind of things on here. We're going to make our own up, and so we'll make those challenges up, and that's one of the cool things that we have in our Kickstarter this year. Someone's asked if I hire a replacement for Sam. Not at this point in time. First of all, we need to see if this Kickstarter goes well. Financially, if you'll know, last year, one of our stretch goals was to hire an additional person. We hit that stretch goal. Well, our stretch goal this year, I'm keeping our main funding goal the same. So I don't have the money to replace Sam quite yet. I could be if we got to the stretch goal. But this year the stretch goal is I need to give the guys who work for me a raise. We're all working really hard, and I think they deserve it. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff you guys don't see. These guys work really hard at putting everything together. You see me a lot. I try to work hard. I don't know that I'm the hardest worker, but And so I expect it from people who work with me, and I like to reward that. Now, I'm not saying we won't hire someone else in the future. That's certainly a possibility. If you have the base game and then the game release is a deluxe edition, do you sell your base game and buy the deluxe version, like Suburbia, Castles of Burgundy, etc.? That's a good question. It depends on who. If you're talking about personal or for Dice Tower Library. For Dice Tower Library, I try to keep both, because not everyone wants to go through the big. Suburbia is a good example. Suburbia is like. Not everyone wants to pull that out. So then you can pull out regular Suburbia and play that. Although, come to think of it, my regular Suburbia is really blinged out. I may have to cut some of that stuff out of there. For a personal level, I would only have one. I would have either the deluxe or the non-deluxe. Well, the deluxe probably. Do you think your cameo in South Park would bring more attention to your channel or the hobby? I'm sure it brought more attention to the hobby. I don't know if it brought to the channel. I saw a few people post in a Nemesis review like, hey, South Park brought me here. But I don't know how much it was. Sorry, I just got lost in where I was at. Who's my favorite character in Unmatched right now? Bigfoot, maybe. Oh, King Arthur. I like King Arthur a lot. Are we planning on doing a live playthrough of Return to Dark Tower? I don't know if that's on the schedule or not. I mean, when we get it, eventually when it comes out, maybe. How much do you sleeve? Not much. I sleeve almost only games that need to be sleeved. By that I mean, like if it's a game like Resistance, where the cards are passed around and they're going to get beat up, and I can tell by your card what the card is, I sleeve them. But most of the part I don't. I'm not a huge fan of sleeves and shuffling them. I think the Taburu project from Come On, I think that's interesting. I'm certainly interested in checking that out. Did the Kickstarter start yet? Nope, 29 minutes. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? I mean, big game. I don't know. I don't even know who's in it. All I know is that the Vikings, I'm assuming they won yesterday. We were in a restaurant and there was a lot of yelling. And I know the Bills lost because I saw a lot of yelling about that on Facebook. But for the most part, I haven't really been keeping my eye on it. I know the Dolphins are not involved. Best game with magnets. Oh, there's a lot. That's really interesting. I don't know. Best game with magnets. I do know that I was looking at Columba. That has some really cool magnet use in it. I was very impressed with how that looked. I haven't played it yet, but it looks good. Should I buy the crude German version or wait for the English version? I would wait for the English version. I think the cards are going to be much better quality. And it's a card game, so you want good quality cards. Will you have a live video up when the Kickstarter goes live? I think you've done this in the past. No, did not occur to me to do that. I might make one of those, but I might just do a live video from here. We'll see. What's my favorite flavor of milkshake? I'm trying to cool off on the milkshakes. No sweets. I like chocolate a lot. I mean, I like stuff in my milkshakes. I like a mix of a milkshake. So chocolate with caramel would be good. A caramel milkshake. Time I want to try Betrayal House on the Hill, but stayed away because of the broken scenarios. Is Betrayal Legacy different enough that I might give that a try? I have not played through it completely, but I haven't heard about broken scenarios in it. Just as a small heads up, a lot of people ask me, what do you think about this game versus this game? I don't normally answer those because, well, we're doing a top 100, which starts today at 2 o'clock. And I don't normally do a lot of game comparisons in that regard. If you're asking me if I played a certain game, and I've reviewed a ton of games, so there's a good chance I've reviewed it. If I haven't reviewed it, then I haven't probably played it, or if I have played it, it's on the review pile and it will get reviewed. Very rarely do I play a game that I haven't reviewed. Now, the exception to this is if you see that Z or Roy or Mike have reviewed the game, or someone else on our channel has reviewed the game and I haven't, you can ask me, because I probably won't review it because that other person has. And if I've played it, then I'll tell you then. But if I reviewed it, you can just check out the review. If you could travel anywhere in the world for a week and someone else is picking up the bill, where would it be? Depends what kind of mood I'm in, right? But Malaysia is really tempting. I've been to Malaysia before and I just love to go back. If it's a country I've never been to before, I think I would like to go to Russia. Not now. It's probably pretty cold there right now. Russia would be interesting. I'd love to go to any country in Africa. I've never been to the African continent at all. So that would be pretty high on my list too. Maybe India? Really, I mean, you can say any country I haven't been to and I'd be interested in it. You could say, oh, there's, pick some country that most people don't think is a country to go to, and I'd be like, well, that sounds interesting. Any place I haven't been always sounds interesting to me. Looking forward to the top 100 list. Have you seen the People's Choice list, or will that be a surprise? Well, I haven't memorized it, but yes, I saw it. I put it together. But I'm not putting together the slides or anything, so I will have forgotten by the time, or at least I've forgotten some of the stuff by the time we get to the People's Choice. Is there something I'm missing in Brass Birmingham? I bought it because of its high ratings and I like heavy Euro games, but it seems dry after 3 to 4 plays. I guess it's just not for you. I mean, it wasn't necessarily for me either. But a lot of people do like it, so if it's not for you, I'm not saying, oh, you're missing something. I just move on to a different game. How often do you meet a fan, maybe took a picture with, who's taller than you? Oh, it happens, and they always make sure to let me know they're taller than me, too. Would you rather be 6 inches tall or 6 stories tall? Why would anyone want to be 6 stories tall? I mean, I don't think anyone wants to be 6 inches tall, but at least with 6 inches tall, I could sit and watch TV and eat. Man, I'll be like, I'll take a lobster and I'll eat it for the next year. I would also be deathly afraid of bugs. But I would assume he would protect me from them. Yeah, okay. Not going to put a lot more thought into that. Sometimes you're wearing a hat that's not exactly centered properly on your head. Is that an accident or by design? No, I'm just not very good at wearing my hats. What was your total weight loss? Well, let's not worry about that. Do you have any more goals for that? Are you happy with what you achieved? I am happy, but I've regressed slightly, and so I'm on the ball. I'm really on the ball right now with getting back to closer to what I would like to be. What's my favorite thing about this Kickstarter? Like, of all the different stuff in there? I'm pretty excited about the Chronicles of Crime promos. We have some more of those, and we're going to be writing a specific scenario for those. The Tainted Grail promos are really cool. I mean, I like Tainted Grail, so it's neat to add stuff for that. There's a lot of really cool promos. Of the non-promo stuff, this poster is interesting to me. The sleeves is a personal thing I like a lot. I like the new dice heroes that Tina drew for us. They're fantastic. So, yeah. What's my favorite 4X game? I don't know. I'd have to go sit down and read that and go through them. Do you know why Project L's having 2 Kickstarters? No. I have a game I have made. What would be the best way to get it out there? Kickstarter or Go Publisher, and what one would you choose? Well, I think you let the publisher choose if they're going to Kickstart it or not. But I think what you mean to ask is, would you self-publish it using Kickstarter or find a different publisher? I would always recommend finding another publisher to do it. Unless your dream is to be a publisher, then start researching that. But if your dream is to be a designer, why would you publish your own game? the publishers publish, designers design. What did Chief Sokotoa do over the holidays? Well, I had a chance to see him on New Year's Eve, which is slightly adjacent holiday. We don't use adjacent holidays here in this dimension too much, but adjacent holidays can kind of wrap around in a circle, so it's possible sometimes that you can travel from one holiday to another holiday, and it can be awkward one time because me and Chief, we traveled from the Vorken Independence Day and we traveled to Mushgiving, and the outfits we're wearing were almost offensive in the one, and it was a thing. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. So I said hi to him, and then he went off on yet another mission. I'm retired, but he still works hard in this sort of thing. Is Clank the base game spoiled so bad that I should buy the game? I don't know what that means. No, Clank base game is great. Optimal player count for King's Dilemma. I don't know if I'd pick one in particular, but I think 5 was good. I like 5. What's my least favorite color? Gray, brown, I don't know, dark colors. Have you ever thought about doing a top 10 miniature sculpture in board games? Sure, I might do that at some point. Where's my wedding band? Yeah, I need to get it resized, that's all. What happened was I got married. I was super skinny when I was married. I weighed like 150 pounds, and I was 6'4", super skinny. So I got a wedding band for that. And then as time went by and the fat came on, the wedding band was like glued. I couldn't get it off even. So then I lost weight and was able to get it off. I just now need to get it resized properly. That's all. I love my wife dearly. Did you eat your weight in key lime pie over the holidays? I did not. Any hints on any Transformer board games? I haven't heard of any. Do you struggle to enjoy a game with poor artwork? I do. Is it unreasonable to ask people not to bend cards in games? Well, I don't know. It depends on how you do it. I mean, if someone's sitting there and they're holding their card like this and you're like, hey, don't bend my cards, I don't know. But if they're sitting there, actually bending the cards, I might say something. What hot sauces that aren't too hard to get a hold of would you recommend? I really like Scorned Woman is one I like a lot. Irish Scream is one I enjoy. Queen of Farts is so juvenile. I like that one. My favorite hot sauces are made by a local place here. Now that Robert is here, is a local fruit stand that's here that makes their own hot sauces, and they have a Vidalia onion peach hot sauce, which I just really, really like. Should I wear my Dice Tower tie on either next Kickstarter? Sure. Have you ever played a game from a previous year and decided to review it even though it's not new? Yes. What about a Dice Tower Con in Europe? Maybe, but there are no plans for that currently. Do I have any favorite Christian speakers? Possibly, but I wouldn't be able to give a list like that right now. Favorite Tom Hanks movie? I don't know off the top of my head. I really like the Terminal. How about doing the top 10 Pete's in gaming? I don't even know if I could do a top 1. Will the Dice Tower Kickstarter have pledge levels for games, meals with staff at Dice Tower West? Yes. I tried buying a Dice Tower t-shirt for Christmas, but couldn't find one online anywhere. We're going to be working on that. That has nothing to do with the Kickstarter, but I'm going to be working on making new Dice Tower shirts at some point. Has a date for the cruise for 2021 get worked out? Yes. I don't know exactly when it is. I know it's February of 2021, but I don't know more than that. I probably do know. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head. What's the lengthwise dimension of the Dice Tower Library steel shelves? 40-inch? Yeah, it sounds right. I don't remember off the top of my head. Kenny's the one who put them. I just put the games on them. Is the Secret Cabal still part of the Dice Tower network? Yes. Thanks for the great games by age list on the Geek. I didn't do that. One of our fans did that. So thank you very much. It was very nice. Do your younger children ever insist on trying games that may be too complex for them? No. Why do I have a Sith on the ledge behind me? Am I sympathetic to the dark side? Well, what you can't see is it ain't just a Sith. Look. Oh, there's also Luke. Yeah! They're like fighting each other. I don't know why Luke is fighting Kylo Ren, but I got those for Christmas from Kenny. Those backgrounds. Sorry. Got messed up on the questions again. There we go. Let's see. Thank you for all the people who are wishing us good luck on the Kickstarter. 15 minutes, and here we go. Bought King of Tokyo to play with my daughter, and she loves it. What do the monster packs add? Oh, the monster packs, there's, I think, 4 of them now, 4 or 5. They add a new monster with more power cards, but then they add a special rule. Like Cthulhu, you can have worshippers now worship your monster. The occultists, I guess. The Egyptian one, you roll an extra die that will change things and curses and stuff. The newest one, which was the transforming one, which name is escaping me, it gives you an extra battle die that can be used for fighting purposes. And then the King Kong one, you fought over. You brought in a little Empire State Building for King of New York and Tokyo Tower for King of Tokyo, and you could climb up on it and stuff. They all add like little extra rules that are fun. Let's see here. Do you expect there to be a reduction in board game Kickstarter this year due to problems in China? Who knows? I haven't seen it happen yet. I don't know. What happened to Vindication? Was it supposed to be a top 10 game in 2019 or 2018 games? Well, I think Vindication, I played it after I had made my top 10 list in 2018. It would have been on my top games of 2018. So, yeah, keep an eye on it. We're doing our top 100. Will Vindication make it on there? We'll have to wait and see. I've never been to Denmark. I would like to go to Denmark. Tom is a secret Dolphins fan. I'm not a secret Dolphins fan. I am a Dolphins fan, but I'm not like a big Dolphins fan. Like, I don't know any players on the team. I know the Dolphins aren't from Miami. I know they're from Sun Life Stadium, and I know where Sun Life Stadium is. I've never been to a game. So that is the extent of it. I'm like, yay, Dolphins, and I'm done. Clask seems to be the best game of Magnets. Clask is pretty good with Magnets, that's for sure. Do you get recognized out in the wild? It happens occasionally, and that's fun. I like when people say hi to me out in the wild. In the wild. Have you played Battlelore at all recently? Not recently. I like to, though. I was thinking about it the other day. Oreo milkshakes are good, yes. What's my favorite food? Probably taco salad. I really like taco salad. Although shrimp and lobster is really close. What's a game component upgrade you'd like to see more of? I'd like to see more spot UV on cards or tiles. That's good. That's a good answer. I like that a lot. I'd love to see more of that for sure. I'd like to see more game trays in games. Let's see, what couple of games would you recommend for betting that's similar to Camel Up? There's not a lot of games similar to Camel Up. They're usually horse racing games. So look at a lot of horse racing games. The new one that was just remade, it's not horse racing anymore. It's some fantasy thing. I forget what it's called. Horse Fever. They changed it to, Unicorn Fever. That one is similar. I think if you like Camel Up, you'll like Unicorn Fever. Assuming Unicorn Fever is similar to Horse Fever. Have I played Crokinole? Yes. I like Crokinole. I have a copy of it in Dice Tower Library. There's a video of yours with a fast-scrolling credits at the end, how to talk like Eric Summer or how to bribe Dad 101. Funny stuff, but I don't remember what video it was to you. I do remember that one. And unfortunately, that's one of my favorite videos that we've ever made, but it never got watched because it was an intro to one of the top 100 lists. And it was before Z started working for Dice Tower because we used Z in it. And we made it like an old black and white how-to video or how to get a gaming group or what it's like to work for Dad at the Dice Tower and my kids. It was just silly nonsense. So I don't remember. I want to say it was in 15. It was in either 14, 15, or 16. And it was the intro to the top 100 list of that year. And in that video, I'm still really happy with that video. We scripted it out. I wrote it for Eric. He said it. We made the video first. Then Eric read over the video on top of it, and it just came out, and it was really funny. And that was one of the first times Z was on film with us, and we had a good time. Morocco, that sounds like a great place to go. Antarctica, while that would be a neat place to go to, probably not in my top places. When will you travel to Calix to play homage to the IKEA shelf? I don't know, but I didn't even know Calix was a place until today. Do you rubber band any boxes you store vertically to keep components from sliding around? Oh, I rubber band all of them. I rubber band all my boxes. Have you visited Sweden? I have not. Escape room games, I definitely did a top 10 for escape room games on my channel somewhere. It would probably be slightly different now, but not too much. What moves a game up or down on the Board Game Geeks rankings list? Well, basically, in more positive ratings, it will move the average up, which moves it up the list. That's how that works. What's my most anticipated game of 2020? I don't actually know-ish, but we'll be doing a most anticipated game list, but that'll be coming closer to February. We'll be doing that one. Are there some game mechanisms that you used to not like and now you like, or vice versa? That's an interesting thing. There's some game mechanisms that I used to like more, but have faded for me a bit, but nothing strongly. Maybe I'll have to think about that one. That's an interesting maybe video sometime. Do you know anything about Cosmic Encounter Duel? This is the very first time I've heard those words put together, so no. Will you join the This Scale is Broken group? I think I should be a member of that group. I'm doing it, I just haven't joined it, I guess. What do you think about the new version of Democker? You know, it's in the Dice Tower library. I don't think I put a lot of effort into looking at it. I meant to do like a overview of it and talking about it. I'll do that at some point. When you first started doing this, was it strange talking to a camera in an empty room? No, but you have to remember I was doing the podcast first. So the podcast got me used to talking to people when they weren't there. And even before that, when I first got married, I was a telemarketer. And so I got used to talking to people on the phone. I've talked to the person who would respond to me, though. I'm not a telemarketer anymore, so don't hate me. The podcast got me used to talking to people. I think it's just something that some people are okay with and some people aren't. You just get used to it. I am actually talking to you. So that's something that's hard to teach people, though. A lot of people, they get intimidated by the camera. I found it really weird that some people who are really outgoing in person and talk to people, and even people who could give a good speech to a group of people, sometimes you put it in front of a camera and they fall to pieces. I never quite I guess I shouldn't say I don't understand it. Everybody's different. I have a hard time looking someone in the eyes in a one-on-one conversation. I don't know why. That's more intimidating for me than a big group of people. Definitely talking to a camera with 600 people watching. Is there normally this many people watching a Q&A? I feel like 600 is more than normal.
Everybody's back to work.
That's true. That's true. Vacation's over. That's one of the things we always laugh about at Dice Tower is we definitely have more people watch us during work hours than any other time. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Why is the chair moving? Oh, you're bringing it over there. I've not played the new Marvel Champion stuff. Roy stole all that. I said, Roy, let me have it, and he took it, and...
Not even close to true. He threw them at me, and I said, yes, please.
We have Roy will be... We need... Roy will be reviewing Ms. Marvel tomorrow. We're just talking about that video we did.
I'm freezing. I'm so nervous by this. I'm intimidated by this camera.
No, what it is people are just quiet on camera. That's what it is. They're not like... Most people don't freeze up in front of a camera. I've seen people freeze up in public speaking.
Hey, someone come in here.
But I don't... Camera, they just get real quiet. They're like, yeah.
Sure, I get it. So what's happening? What are we talking about? Hi, everybody. I'm Z.
Z's here for the launch of the Kickstarter, which is happening in 5 minutes. Which you can find by going to dicetowerkickstarter.com.
All right.
See, I have the button here ready. This is, I've read these details, which I did read.
You read them.
Well, 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago? We went live and launched a Kickstarter, and then it said, this information's not done yet. We were like, oh no!
Oh, geez. Are we ready?
I tested it, I think so.
All right. We'll see. We'll find out. We'll find out in 5 minutes.
What are you most looking forward to on the cruise?
You know it's the food. Why are you even trying to look for something else?
Okay. Well, I don't know that I look
The
forward to the
question
food.
really is, what is the second thing you're
No.
most looking forward to?
You know what it is?
Food. I know what it is. Yes, you guys just told me.
The meeting people who've gone to the last 3.
While eating.
Yes, fine. No, but I mean, the cruise and probably the retreat will be this way too. More than anything else, you're like, oh yeah, you guys were the last ones.
It's like a reunion, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Any event like that you're going to once a year or whatever it may be, starts to feel like a reunion of friends after a while. It's really cool.
For the cruise meetup, the evening before the cruise, that's on the Facebook cruise group, the Dice Tower Cruise. Jason put all the details there. It's at a hotel in that area, which I'm forgetting where it is, but it's.
Okay. Cool.
I'm going to look at it this Saturday, actually. You wouldn't think Tom would be in the improv. I'm not really good at improv. I'm good at improvising, like, realistic stuff. Like, if you say, Tom, go in there and fill some time. There's 100 people sitting there, go talk to them for a while. I can do that. But if you said, Tom, here's 6 objects, make a funny skit out of them, I would be like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not that good at it either.
What? He's a liar.
No, I'm not.
Let's jump all the way to the bottom. That Z's here. Lobster night on the cruise. You know, actually, lobster night on the cruise did not like blow me away. The lobsters are fine. They're small lobsters, though.
Can you get more than one?
Did you not see that one table?
I don't remember.
Jason's table.
Yeah, Jason's table was like.
Jason and Vernon had
carcasses.
like carcasses. I think I had 2. I think.
Okay. I think the dinners are absolutely one of the best things.
I just like the service out on the cruise. Yeah. We go to a lot of hotels over the year. Not a single hotel comes close to the service of the cruise.
Oh, sure. No, it's a different thing.
Usually they're like housekeeping, and you're like, oh, I'm not ready yet. And they're like, oh, okay. And then, but on the cruise, they'll be like, Mr. Vassal.
Yeah.
You know what? You know, it's just a whole different ball game. When will Eric Summer do a Q&A? You know, Eric does a show every other Wednesday. Dice Tower Tonight. You guys can ask him questions then. Lobster used to be so bad that they wouldn't even serve it to prisoners. Well, they did serve it to prisoners, but the prisoners started a petition. They were tired of getting lobster fed to them. Those were the
Okay,
days.
okay.
Yeah, it used to be considered a low-class meat. Some people still do. Is there any video explaining the layout of the library? And it seemed to be by box size. Yes, that's what it is. Well, Melody Vassal's here. We're gonna help. She's gonna help me build notebooks, and we're gonna go through those.
You'll be able to find. We'll have information as to if you want to browse. Feel free to browse. You know, there's that discovery there too. But if you're looking for something specifically, then you can just flip a couple of pages, find it, tells you where it is, go get it.
I'm also going to put a couple top 10 lists in there, like top 10 games that are great that you probably never tried out. I put a couple of those because I want to point people to games that they don't normally try.
It's a good idea.
All right, 60 seconds. Is there a promo in here that has you particularly excited? Well, the one this morning, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really psyched about that.
Well, you can say it.
There's an Atlantis Rising promo that you won't be able to see a picture of it yet, but I'm very excited about it having a new character from it. So that'll be cool.
That's one of your favorite games of recent lore. We'll see if it shows up in the top 100. I wonder if it will crack the top 100. We're about to find out today. We'll be 100. We're not going to tell you just missed games until it's over.
Yeah, I guess so.
Although if you're wondering, like, I don't know if they'll make a top 100 list and it doesn't hit like in the top first 20, then now at that point, it's time to launch.
Here we go.
It says drum roll. Is there a drum roll sound? Wait, let's launch it now.
Wait.
Our project is live. Wait, we haven't made any money yet.
Oh, okay, hold on.
Although I can't imagine how you would make any money right away unless there's like one pledge level.
Well, there are those projects that say funded within 3 minutes or whatever.
Which, by the way, I really, really hate. That does not persuade me. Someone pledged $1.
We have $1.
Shut it down. We're good.
Woo! Thanks, everybody.
All right. Well,
we're live. We are officially live.
We are one. Let's see. Let me see if I can. We're 0.25% there.
Well, we're about to be.
That's 0.2. We'll be 0.5% there in a second.
Yes.
All righty. Well, thank you.
Soon.
It always feels good that a few people back us like right away without even reading the Kickstarter. All right, 0.5%. Great. All right, cool. My wife likes watching these too. Oh,
it sometimes goes up.
Yeah,
and bounces,
it's always weird because you'll see it go ah.
Yeah.
All right.
It would be cool if it had a percent reader, like 1%. You know, it's like the world's slowest download for something.
Well, actually, I added this.
Oops, you pulled.
Yeah, you're right.
You
I know.
dragged
I added this backer tracker thing.
Is that only something we can see?
Sure, it's from BackerKit.
Yeah, okay.
But you can have this. It's a Chrome extension.
Oh, okay,
and
okay.
it comes up on all things. Now, this is here, but see.
That's cool. Okay, I got you.
All righty. Well, if you notice any errors or anything, let us know. We'll try to get things fixed. And yeah, see, that's crazy. That's the Keyforge decks. Oh yeah, someone asked me what was cool. The Keyforge decks, the custom Keyforge decks are neat.
Oh my goodness, yeah,
we
that's
were
like
really surprised.
so limited though. That's fancy, yeah.
Yeah, you're so fancy.
There's a lot of cool promos in there. Tons of neat stuff I can't wait for
we're
personally.
up to 2%.
Oh, that's it.
I'm gonna put one of those.
That's it.
That'd be funny. 2% funded
In the first 2 minutes. Yes, that would be a great. Yeah.
No one's ever done that sort of thing, right? One time I got a Kickstarter and it, like on the box for like 137% funded. I'm like, what does that even mean? That doesn't mean anything to me.
Right. I don't know what your goal was, so maybe you wanted $20 and got 26. So.
Well, you can help us out if you're watching this. Tell people about it. Tweet it. We're going to be doing that soon. Tell folks about the Kickstarter, and that's pretty much it. We'll put an announcement on our website. Yes, that should be going up very soon, and on the Kickstarter, etc. The Kickstarter is Dice Tower, Kickstarter.com. There shouldn't be any errors after that crazy editing process. I don't want to point about who made that crazy editing process possible. I've never deleted so many commas in my life.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, remember I told you I was deleting all those commas?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's because of him. Tried to post in chat, but got removed. I don't know. I didn't remove anything from chat. Oh, I see. Because you tried to post a thing. Well, we'll edit this description of this video, and also I think I can add it. This isn't game related, but did you cloth diaper any of your children? Yes, Melody, for about 1 week. Because it was like, you can save money by using cloth diapers. You take the cloth diapers, you then wash them, and you can reuse them. After 1 week of that nonsense, I was like, disposable, here I come. Because that was the grossest of things. Diapers are already pretty gross, and that's why you go, it's gone.
Right.
Not with cloth diapers. I don't know why we're having this discussion, why we launched a Kickstarter.
I have no idea, but...
Ooh, we're almost up to 3%. That would be cool. 3% funded in 5 minutes. Oh, wait. 4% funded in 5 minutes.
This is not
This is not like a sales pitch?
That's not a thing. Yeah, that's not something we should put on the main image.
All right. Well, either way, we'll see what happens. We appreciate it. We're going to get cracking here because we got to be back in 2 hours to do our top 100 games of all time. Today we're doing 100 through 91. This will take us 2.5 weeks to do. We're doing 40 this week, 40 next week, and then the final 20 the last week. That is how math works.
Yes, that totals.
All righty.
That totals 10.
Thank you, everybody. Anything else you guys say?
No, just thanks everyone for joining us for, well, mostly Tom, for this Q&A and jumping in there for the Kickstarter. We appreciate you supporting us and being a part of what we do. Thanks very much.
All right, we'll see you next time. Until then, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia, and I was here for just like 6 minutes.
Have fun gaming
Bye.
and kickstarting.